next module, that is module 3. So the module 3 consists of class design. What is the reason for system conception? How the system conception will be done? So these are the concepts that we are dealing in the module 3. Okay. So the first thing is the system conception. What do you mean by system conception? So system conception deals with the genius of application. That means we need to identify where the problem is and how we can give a technological solution for that particular problem, either in terms of a technology, hardware devices, or in terms of a application. That we need to try to understand, and where when we are trying to bring an application for this, it also includes a business needs. That means how you can improve an application, including or by involving a business communication or business needs. How you can develop your business by developing an application to the end user or to any clients. So that is what we call it as a system conception. So when we are trying to take a new system, there are some fundamental things, or we need to observe why this new system is required. What are the things that can be involved when we are trying to use a new system? So there are some different ways that why the development of new system or a system conception is being considered. So the first thing is new functionality. Say for example, whatever the application that may be existing, it can be a manual process or some functionalities may be lagging. So how you can bring a new functionality? So you can have a comparison between the existing system. If it is already automated, so in an existing system, what are the drawbacks that we are trying to find? We need to identify the differences between a existing and a proposed system. So whatever the lacking concepts or lacking functionalities are there, so that can be improved in a better manner. Next thing is a streaming. We need to identify how you can bring a system into a particular streamline into a working process. And the next thing is simplification. If the system is a complex system, you need to break into the smaller modules or smaller functionalities, and that you need to simplify with and there you need to simplify there. Next is the automation. Why this automation is required? Because the automation helps the process to minimize whatever the complex systems are there. So the complex task can be reduced by introducing the automation into the system. Next thing is integration. As I said, we are trying to break the entire system into a different modules or a different systems. So later what we need to do, we need to combine all the functionalities together to form it as a one particular system. That is what we call it as a integration. Next thing is analogy. What do you mean by analogy? Whatever the existing systems are there, okay, we are trying to refer with respect to the existing system. We are taking a similar functionality, or we are referring to the similar system. So that is what we call it as a analogy. Next thing is a globalization. Whatever the new system that we have consider, how you can make it as a globalization. So whether it is a real world problem, whether these systems can be introduced to the workaround. These are the things that we can consider. Next is we need to elaborate the concept. That means we are whatever the system that we are developing, before developing a system, we need to ask ourselves some of the questionnaires. So why do we need the application? Who are the users? What is the purpose of a application? So here goes some of the questionnaires when we are trying to elaborate the concept. First question here is, who is the application for? That means when you are trying to develop a particular system, who are the users? I think you have a project, right? mini project in web? Speak out, unmute and speak out. Anyone? Pavitra? Savita?
Yes, ma'am. We have many project.
You have mini project. What you are actually going to do? How you are going to do your project? You are identifying the new system, right? Where the problem is, who are the users of the system. So if I'm going to develop this particular product or a particular application, how it can be benefit to the users, in what way we can contribute, those things you are going to keep in mind. So when we are trying to elaborate the concept, here goes the first question: who is the application for? So the first thing is, whatever the application that you are trying to develop, it should be understandable to the person, to the organization, and to the stakeholders. Stakeholders can be any people. He can be a developer, he can be an analyst, he can be a designer, he can be a developer, tester, or the end user. So all these people who are involved for a new system, we are going to call them as a stakeholders. So whoever the people that those who are involved in this application. So how you can make a system understanding? What is the purpose of a system? And the next thing is, financial sponsors are important because they are paying for the system. Whenever an company is going to take a client's project, so the client are going to pay an amount for a particular project. So who are involved, all this project will be paid by the clients. Okay, so that financial sponsoring will be taken care by some of the people. And when you are developing a new system, what you need to do, you need to schedule that system. That means, for the client who has given you the project, you need to assure them when you are going to provide the product or a project back, and what is the total budget, and in what different phases the project will be developed. Say the best example can be a construction of a house. If you are taking a construction of a house, then what you are going to do, you will get a blueprint or architecture of the house. Okay, so once the architecture is approved, then what you are going to do, you will start construction of a house. So before construction, you will get some you will get some quotation from the contractor, right? So he is going to give you the list. What are the materials that he is going to do, going to put up, and what are the cost? All this basic depends upon a brand, depends upon what are the different types of materials that he is going to use for construction. All these things he is going to put up, and he is going to give you an estimation. So similarly, when we are trying to develop an application, an estimation or a budget should be given to the financial sponsor, so that what they are going to do, within a stipulated time, your project, you need to develop the project, and you need to return the uh, project back to the client. So that is how we are trying to involve with respect to the application. And next thing is, we need to, when we are trying to identify different stakeholders, so we need to identify in what way it can give a effective, in what way it can give the effectiveness, or what is the productivity of the application. So how it can be useful. All those things has to be taken care when we are identifying who is going to use an application. And the next question here is, what problem will it solve? So when you have identified a particular problem, you need to clearly state what is the problem. You need to give the problem statement, what actual problem it is going to solve. So how you can give the problem statement based on a scope. So how do you put a scope? You need to put a boundary of a boundary for a project. You cannot put all the functionalities together within a see, there can be a time limit, right? So within a time limit you need to complete the project, so you cannot include all the functionalities. Say for example, I will tell you to develop a mobile application with respect to the for sending an SMS to the parents, for including the attendance, right? So it is a complex task, so it will take a longer time. Within a say, assume that you will be not able to complete within a one particular semester. That means what you need to identify scope of a project. What are the things that you can include within a system? And you need to identify features of the system. So if you are when you are developing a particular project, what features can be involved? Say for example, it can be a security. Whatever the system I am developing, I am taking a security. Maybe you might have included some security algorithm within your application. Okay, so that can be a feature. Those features may not be available in the existing system. Next thing is reach various kinds of user in different organization. So similar product or the same project can be same application can be taken with respect to different users in different organization, and when they are using these application, what we need to have, they have their own viewpoints, or you can say the users have their own perspective of how to use that particular application, which gives a motivation to the developer to solve a particular problem, or he can identify where the problem is going to arise. And next thing is where it will be used. So if I'm developing, when I'm developing an application, we need to see where this particular system is being used. So whether the organization is going to use this as a software, or it can be taken as an experimental, or whether you are trying to use the application for a work deployment. There are various ways that where you can use this application. And next thing is know about the new system with complement. New system will complement the existing system. That means whatever the existing system is there, so you are trying to add some new features, and when new features are added, okay, so the system is going to perform still better than the existing system. And if you are trying to use this system as a web-based system, and those applications can be distributed via network. Okay, so when it is needed, that means when you are trying to develop an application, when the applications are developed, we know that who will be using, what is the purpose of using the system, where it will be used. We are trying to identify the boundary. Next thing is when it is needed. When you are trying to develop an application, you need to know at what when this particular system has to be developed, and whether it is applicable for time being, or for the future references, or any other time. So here when indicates the time perspective. So there are two aspects of a time. So what are these two aspects of time? One is a feasible time and one is a required time. So what does this feasible time will say? The feasible time will say that in which the system can be developed within the constraints of cost and the available resources. Say for example, now you have a limited resources. You have a limitations. The time will be limited, and you have a constraints, right? So you cannot invest more on a project, right? So within the available resources. So whatever the applications are there, or whatever the softwares are there, within the available softwares, you are trying to develop a application. So that is what we call it as a feasible time. So with the existing, with respect to the constraints of cost and resources, you are trying to give your best, right? So that is what we call it as a feasible time. Okay. Say for example, if you are developing a project, you may require some software. So those softwares the alternative softwares may be available for you in terms of open sources. Maybe you might use a Linux based instead of Windows based, right? So there you can compensate. So within the available resources, you are trying to utilize the maximum time to give out the best. And next thing is required time. So what is this required time? The required time is indicated with respect to the business goals. So when the system has to be developed, so whether whatever the applications or whatever the references that we have taken, so whether all these references are going to be considered to meet the business goals. That means what? The client has given some stipulated time. Say for example, he will tell within 6 months I want this application or I want a product. Okay, so within 6 months of time, so the company has to develop the product and he has to provide the product. Say for example, if you are taking a manufacturing company, okay, so the manufacturing company gets a requirement or for a particular product XYZ. Okay, assume that XYZ is a product and that particular product will be given will be there will be a demand for that particular product XYZ. Okay, so that product will be for that product. Okay, so when a customer is asking for that particular product itself, so what the storekeeper will tell, so there is a huge demand and you need to wait for some time, so you need to make an advance booking, right? So you might have assumed from, I think, 5 or 6 years back, for a particular vehicle there was a booking. Do anyone know? So 5 6 years back, so they used to keep in a waiting. So in an automobile showroom, they used to take the requirement. They used to book the vehicle and they used to wait for 3 4 months. And after 3 4 months, whatever the advance they had paid, later once they get the delivery of that vehicle, they used to pay back the remaining amount. Do you know which product is that? Anyone? Right? So that is the one more thing where we need to identify when the system has been taken care and how you can uphold the business goals. And next thing is we need to identify within a stipulated constraints within a business requirements, so how better you can provide an application. So these are the things that we need to concentrate when we are using the aspects of time. And next thing is why it is needed. That means what if I'm developing this and if I'm developing this particular application, what is the purpose of developing this application? For what purpose it actually needs? So the first thing is prepare a business case for the new system if someone has not already done. That means you need to look when you are developing a particular application, you need to look in terms of a business perspective and you need to give the entire description of that particular application. So how it can be useful to the system. And this business case contains a financial justification. That means, say for example, if you are developing a particular application, you will say that my application will be sold for 50,000 rupees. So if you are specifying 50,000 rupees, so what are the costs that it is being included? So if it can be a hardware, it can be a software, so it can be a developmental charges, it can be a designer charges. So it can be a different benefits. So what are the risk and alternatives that are considered? So all this explanation should be written in terms of a business case. That means when you have developed an application, you need to have an entire documentation of that application. So what is the purpose and how you can better improve that particular with respect to the financial and with respect to the different application, that you need to give an insight to the external stakeholders. Next thing is how the system is going to work. Okay, so the next thing is where you have developed an application. Okay, so if end user is a layman. Okay, so assume that the end user, he does not know how to use a computer application itself. So how you are going to solve that problem? So how you are going to explain that this is a system and these are the, this is how it is going to work. Say for example, you have developed an application similar to a phone pay or a Google Pay. Okay, so you have developed an application. Okay, when a merchant is trying to use that particular application, he should know how the system is going to work. First, he should be given a demonstration. So, what are the advantages of using your application? So, how it is going to give him a confidence with respect to the payment system. So, how he can secure his account. So, it can be like a once you have developed an application, it can be like a prototyping and a experimentation. So you can do with respect to the experimentation. So how the application is going to work. Our sample data can be considered. And so these are the four different questionnaires that we need to ask or we need to answer when we are trying to develop a new system. So here okay, so whatever the questionnaires that we have taken with respect to the respect to the system, so the same questionnaires we are trying to take with respect to the ATM case study. So from here onwards, we are going to consider a ATM as a case study. So with respect to the ATM case study, so we are trying to use a analysis of our application. We are going to use a domain analysis and application analysis with respect to the ATM case study. So here we are going to consider the ATM case study. So the first question here that we had taken is who is the application for? That means when you are using an ATM, so who are going to use this ATM? So the first thing is vendor will come. Vendor is going to come. Okay. So how this vendor is going to be considered? So he would be a competing for a customers in an establishment of a market. That means the same product can be developed by different vendors or can be supplied by the different suppliers, right? So it can be product ABC, XYZ. So there are so many different manufacturers of a ATM. So once the vendor want to establish in a market, so how he can give a better service, that we need to look into the case. So here the large vendors could certainly enter such market but might find it advantageous to partners with or acquire an existing supplier. So when he want to establish his system in a market or when he want to be in a market, so he need to identify a proper supplier who is going to supply that particular product in a market, and he need to identify who are his partners and whether his product is moving well. That means he need to be established in the market. So how he can establish? So what are the parameters that are required we need to consider. And next thing is when there are small vendors. So when there are small vendors, to differentiate from the crowd and to attract the attention, he need to have some small special features. Say for example, you have a okay, you have a cycle. Okay, we will take a cycle. Okay, the cycle will come with respect to a different companies. Okay, so when they want to compare, when they want to establish their own identity in a market, so what they want to do, they have to compete with respect, like they have to compete with a different sets of vendors and different sets of suppliers. So how it is, how the product is moving in the market. So those things has to be considered. So it can be a like a feedback. Okay, say for example, if a customer is purchasing a particular product over a internet, you might have seen there with respect to the reviews. Say for example, you are purchasing any mobile over a Flipkart or Amazon or any other e-commerce website. Okay, so you what you will do generally when you are trying to purchase over any app, what you are going to do, Kavya? Kavya, you are trying to see the reviews, you are trying to see the comments, and then you are trying to go with the with respect to the purchase of a particular product or not, right? So similarly, when a ATM is being developed by different vendors, so the bankers are going to identify with respect to the customers. So how it can, if they will take a small survey, how the system is going to work. So after expecting with respect to the different opinions, then they are going to establish in a market, or they are going to take the software, they are going to purchase a ATM software. So in that way, we can identify who are the users of that particular application. Next thing is, what problem will it solve? So if you are taking a ATM software, okay, if the ATM is being deployed in a bank and the software is being installed in a bank, so what problem it is going to solve? So the first thing is, it is a I can say it has an agent between both the bank and the customer. That means what? It is going to minimize the work of the banking person or a clerical work. So what happens when a customer want to withdraw an amount? Okay, he need not go to a bank in person with a within a stipulated working time. So he can go and draw the cash whenever he needs. So that is one of the advantages, that it solves a problem. And next thing is, ATM software increases the automation and reduces the manual handling routine paper. That means what? Whatever the paperwork is there, so all the paperwork can be minimized through the software. Then where it can be used? So to use that ATM or to withdraw an amount, so you can deploy this ATM machines. So where it should be deployed? It can be deployed in a malls, like a malls or any other outside locations. So you can see on a roadside or in a malls, different ATM machines will be deployed, where a customer without an amount, he can go and he can withdraw the amount in a particular stores. And the next thing is, when we need this ATM. So what is the purpose of a ATM? We came to know why it is needed, what is the scope, right? So next thing is, when you want this ATM. So the first thing is, it has to provide a financial proposition. So when you want to have a financial aid, okay, then we need to look into this particular software. So the bank is going to make a huge investment, which can develop a different revenues for the particular investment. So it can maximize the revenues and realize the revenue, how it can be utilized. So there we are going to consider the ATM software. Next thing is, what is the purpose? Why it is needed? So there are three different purposes. So the first thing is economic incentive to participate. So the user can economically use this, and whenever he want to withdraw an amount, okay, so there he can use. So with the help of a debit card, he can use it in a stores. So for business commission, and for minimal pricing system, there he can use a ATM software. So how this system is going to work? That is, in a general, I have told we are going to use a brainstorming, right? So here how the ATM system is going to work? It adopts a three-tier architecture. That is, it is a client-server architecture where we have a user interface, programmable logic, and a database. So here the problem statement has been taken care. So when we say a client server architecture with respect to three things, that is user interface, programmable logic, and a database. So in a database, what are the things that ATM software can have? So it can have a customer name, customer account number, so the balance and the transaction detail. All the transaction details are available in a database. And next thing is programmable logic. In a programmable logic, it is going to verify whether the customer is a valid customer. He is a genuine user. So once the verification is done, then what happens? It will connect to the customer database and it will allow for a particular transaction, which transaction that a customer has requested. Then what about the user interface? So the GUI is very important, where the user is going to interact with the system. So when the customer inserts a card, it will ask the customer the credential. So it will display the menu. So the customer is going to select the menu once he is going to log in. So there is a need of a user interface. So that is how the system is going to work. So the next thing is, when you are trying to define a problem. Okay, so there are different kinds of requirements that are taken care with respect to the problem statement. So what is a problem statement? What is a problem statement? Arbaz, unmute. What is a problem statement? So the problem statement indicates that what type of problem that the system is stating. So you are stating the say in simpler way, I can say it is a project title. So if you people are doing a mini project, right? So you are trying what you are bringing some problem and you are giving some title. So that title indicates the problem statement. With reference to that title, we are trying to identify what is the problem statement. So when you have taken a problem statement, with respect to that problem statement, you need to go with respect to the different requirements. So the first is requirement statement is problem scope. So that means you need to put a boundary. So what problem it actually solve, that you need to say without any ambiguity. Then what is needed? So to solve that particular problem, what are the resources that are required? And next thing is application context. So where it is being used, who are going to use this? And next thing is assumptions. Say for example, it can be the users, it can be some prerequisite data that you are trying to assume. Next thing is the performance needs. So the performance needs can be in terms of a scalability, it can be a security, and it can be a load, it can be in terms of a load. So there are different things that you can consider for a performance needs. Next thing is design. So when you have given a problem statement, so how you are going to solve that? So that you are trying to say with respect to the design. So it can be a general approach. Okay. Say for example, you are taking a database project. You are using what are the different entities are there, right? So all these things you are going to discuss. Next thing is algorithm. Say for example, if you are using a uh, any problem related to machine learning. So you're just telling what type of algorithm that you are going to use. And next thing is a data structure, whether it can be a list or whether it can be a links, right? So you are trying to identify what type of data structures that it is going to use. Next thing is system architecture. So how it can be solved. Say if you are using a client server client server kind, or if it is a 3-tier architecture, you are going to write that how that 3-tier architecture is going to work. So you are just designing the system. Next thing is optimization. Okay. Next thing is capacity planning. So if you are doing this particular project, how you are going to solve. Next is a implementation. When it comes for an implementation, you are trying to identify on which platform that the system is going to be solved. You are going to solve. Next thing is hardware specification. That is, what are the hardware requirements? What are the hardware requirements that are needed? Next thing is software libraries and the interface standards. So when if you are doing any GUI, any interface systems are there, that how you are going to solve. So these are the things that we need to concentrate. Okay. So next, this is a ATM network. Okay. So here what we can identify, there are different actors here. Okay. So we have a ATM has an entity. So these actors are going to be connected with respect to an ATM system. So this ATM system is being connected to the central computer. So from the central computer, it will be taken care to the bank computers, and one will be connected to the cashier station, and the others will be connected to an account. That means what, when a say if you are having any ATM, so you can draw an amount with respect to any ATM. Say for example, if you are having an account with respect to an SBI, you can make a transaction with other bank also. You can draw an amount in a syndicate bank ATM also. Okay, so how it is going to work? So all the ATMs will be connected to the central computer. Okay, so these later in turn, the central computer will be connected, all the other banks will be connected to the central computer, and each and every terminal of a bank computer will be connected to the cashier station, and this same bank computer is being connected to a customer account. Just a second. Okay, so here what happens, all the bank when an account is being connected to the bank computer, say a person is making a transaction with respect to an ATM, so it will be connected to, first it will go to the central computer. Okay, and it will identify for which bank and for which branch the customer account is being held. Then what happens, it will once the customer inserts an ATM card to a particular ATM machine, so what happens, it will go to the bank computer and it will verify the customer whether he is a valid customer and whether his account is available in that particular bank and particular branch. So once the validation is being done, so what happens, the central computer will allow the user to continue the transaction with respect to that particular user. Then what happens, it will display the, it is going to display the menu. So once the menu is being displayed, next what happens, it is going to allow, it is the central computer is going to allow the transaction to be performed by the user. So once the user performs a transaction, so what happens, whatever the transactions that has been carried out by that particular customer through the ATM machine, so what happens, the central computer is going to update. So once it updates in a central computer, the same updation has to be taken care with respect to the bank computer. Then it will go to the bank computer. The same thing will be updated in a bank computer. Okay. Later, what happens? The cashier is responsible to make all the changes, whatever the transaction updates are there with respect to the bank computer and with respect to that particular customer account. So this is how the ATM machine is going to work. Any doubts? Yes, any doubts you are having?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So that completes the chapter 11. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what are the steps that we are having in the overdevelopment? What steps that we are having? First is a system conception. So after system conception, we have an analysis, right? Yes or no? Right? So we have seen how the system conception will be done. What are the different reasons or what are the different questionnaires that we need to answer? So based on that questionnaires, we are trying to move with the next step. So once the system conception is over, the next step we are having is a analysis. What do you mean by analysis? What is analysis? So we are trying to analyze the system with respect to the different requirements. That means in an analysis phase, we are going to collect all the requirements necessary for that particular problem statement or whatever the problem that we have stated with respect to that particular problem statement. We are trying to identify what are the requirements that are needed. So whether any similar systems are available with respect to this particular project. So if it is there, so what are the existing features are there? So whether there are any drawbacks in a existing system. So if there are problems in a existing system, so how you can improvise the existing system by adding the different features. So when you are trying to add a different features with respect to the particular system, you need to go again with respect to the analysis phase. That means you need to identify who are the users who are going to use the system and who are the different stakeholders that who can participate in developing a particular application, and you may require to communicate with respect to the business experts and domain experts with respect to all these different stakeholders. You may require to analyze the system. So in a domain analysis, what we are trying to concern, so you are trying, whatever the problem statement that you have stated, it should be a precise. Okay, it should be concise, understandable, and correct model of the real world. Say for example, you are giving your project title in a mini project, right? So whatever the project title that you are providing, it should be a precise. That means you need to know what is the purpose of the system. So whether that system is a concise within a stipulated time, can you develop? You need to analyze in that manner. And during the analysis, what you need to do with respect to the business requirements or with respect to the domain model, you need to carry out these things. So first thing is you need to interview the business experts. As I said, we are trying to involve a different stakeholders. So when you want to develop a particular system, you need to meet the business experts or a domain expert. So how you can collect the data? You cannot go and say that I am doing project XYZ, kindly give me the data. Can you do it? Can you do it like that? Winnie? Can you do it? If you go and meet a person and if you are just saying I'm continuing this project and I'm doing this project, and you are an unknown person to that particular person XYZ, if you are trying to meet him and if you are directly asking him that I'm going to do this project, you give me the data, will any person is willing to give you the data directly? No, right? So what is the thing? So the thing is you need to use a proper channel. So how you can do? So you need to meet the business experts. In what way you need to collect the requirements? You need to make an interview. So you whatever the questionnaires that you are having or whatever the doubts that you are having, it should be in a form of a questionnaires. So you need to make an interview of a business expert and you need to collect those data in terms of a from the interview perspective. And next thing is examine the requirements. So if you are developing any project, so how you can collect the requirements? You need to analyze if any similar systems are there, in what platform that the system is built. So mine is if you are doing any advanced, so whether these requirements are able to satisfy my system, right? Whatever the features that you have taken care. Next thing is statements. You need to provide a different statements with respect to the system. And next thing is scrutinize the related artifacts. So what do you mean by artifacts? Artifacts are nothing but it can be it can be like an analogy of a system. It can be a different stakeholders. You can bring in terms of a like what you can say. It can be like a design of a system. It can be related to the system, or you can write it in terms of a cartoonist, right? So there you can identify who are the different stakeholders, how the stakeholders are involved in your system. So you can write it in a form of a cartoonist, and that you can make the end user better understand the system. So that is one of the possibility. Through the artifacts you can bring the system. So this is a diagram which tells us the analysis of a system. So how the system can be analyzed with respect to a different sorts of stakeholders. So first thing is generate a request. Say for example, to analyze a system or to develop a particular system, you will get a request from different types of users. So one can be one can be a normal user, or it can be an end user. It can be a development, it can be a managers. So these are the three different group of categories of user who are just generating the request. Okay, so here the first part is in the diagram tells you how the system can be conceived. Okay, so depending upon their request, so what happens, the problem statement will be generated. So once the problem statement is being generated, next thing is you need to build a model. So how do you build a model? So to build a model, you need to carry the analysis part. So you have a system conception, you need to build a model. So to build that as a model, what you need to have a analysis. So analysis part will sit between a system conception and a development of a model. So to develop that model, first you need to have a analysis. So in what way you need to have an analysis? You need to have with respect to the domain analysis and with respect to the application analysis. So when you say a domain analysis, you are saying you are taking a real world problem and how that real world problem can be solved. Next, with in perspective of a application, so who are the users? So where this application is used, so how that application can be interacted with respect to a different kinds of user that you are trying to tell it with respect to an application analysis. So once this analysis is being done, next what is the next step that you are going to do is building the models. So in what way you can build the model? So you can build the model by using either it can be a class model, or it can be a state model, or it can be an interaction model. So to build all this model, so what are the things that are required with respect to the analysis? So first thing is user interviews. So you need to meet a different types of user and you need to interview them. So what is the requirement that are needed to develop that particular project? So what are the requirements are what are the different types of requirements in terms of resources that you need to identify? Next thing is domain knowledge. So the domain knowledge with respect to that particular, in what way that you are using. So whether it comes in a financial domain, application domain, or any other domain, that knowledge you need to gain. Next thing is real world experience. So if any people who has been involved in a similar type of project or similar type of experiences, you need to involve or you need to take the opinion of those people to build a model. And next thing is related systems. So similar systems, if any similar systems are there, you can go to the similar system. You can look how the interfaces are there, what are the data, if it consists of any databases, so what are the different databases that has been used, how the data has been stored. So like that you can see a related system and you can develop the system. So that is how the analysis can be done. Any doubts up to this? Yes, just type your USN in a chat box. Yes, what is scenario?